Welcome back to Untested Arcana, the show where I take popular characters and media and turn them into tabletop RPG content. As the name suggests, all of this is untested. The purpose of this show is to teach you about the kinds of design decisions that go into making that first draft. We're not trying to make fully ready to publish stuff here. So far in this series, it's just been 5th edition subclasses, but that may change in the future. Today, we are going to be making a roguish archetype. And this gives me a great excuse to air a grievance I have long held with the rogue class, which is that I kind of think it's badly designed. Now, before you get upset in the comments, it's not like I don't think rogues are fun. I've played as a rogue, I've DM'd for parties with rogues, I've just been in a party with a rogue as well. It is fun. It is fun to play with, it is fun to play for, it is fun to play alongside. But there is a core mismatch between the narrative design of the rogue and the game design of the rogue that has always bothered me. The fantasy of the rogue is being fast, cunning, skilled, and a lot of the features support that really well. Expertise, evasion, cunning actions, even Thieves' Cant, which I don't think anyone actually uses in their game. The feature that I think doesn't work is sneak attack. And yeah, that's the defining feature of rogue that I'm criticizing. I'm aware, but I want you to sort of forget everything you know about D&D and everything you know about rogues. And just, I'm going to put up a description of a game feature, and I want you to really look at it with fresh eyes. This character class can only make one weapon attack during their 6-second turn, unlike many others who can manage to attack twice or more. As a trade-off, when that attack does hit, it is devastating. On top of the weapon's normal damage, they may roll a number of d6s equal to half their character level, rounded up, and add the rolled total to the attack's damage. Really just look at that for a second. And tell me, when you read those mechanics, is it easier to imagine a giant warrior wielding a heavy mace, or like a tiny fast guy wielding a knife? I know for me, this conjures images of slow, heavy hitter. And that's not what rogues are. Even though all I've done here is just rephrase sneak attack. See, what I don't like is that rogues are all about precision, but there is a way to be precise in D&D, and it's the attack roll. We know this because there's a battle master maneuver called precision attack, and guess what? It doesn't add a bunch to the damage roll, it adds to the attack roll. In an alternate world, this feature wouldn't be called sneak attack, it would be called ferocious attack, and it would be the core feature of barbarian. Like, we've all been conditioned to think sneak attack makes sense and is roguish, but it sorta doesn't. And look, I'm not suggesting that they need to change this, that in 1D&D, they should give this feature to barbarians and give rogues a new defining damage feature. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not even saying that you're wrong for enjoying it or that it's not good. I mean, I am saying that it's not good, sort of. But rather that I think there's a mismatch here, and I think that's always bothered me about rogue. And when I start to make a roguish archetype, I'm often like subconsciously trying to address this particular game design issue. And that is what inspired me to make one based on Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. Because yeah, is he probably a monk? Yeah, probably. But look at what he does. He doesn't swing his sword a whole bunch, do a bunch of tricky shit, hit a bunch of people. He's not super precise. He's not like Tanjiro, who can like really perfectly slice the head off the demon in a way that makes them feel no pain. No, he just unsheathes his sword so intensely that it's like lightning striking. And that, to me, fits sneak attack 1,000 times better than most roguish archetypes use it. So let's explore the subclass, which I am calling the Thunderblade. Rogues who train as Thunderblades pour everything they have into a single decisive strike, screaming towards their opponents like a bolt from the blue. The incredible speed of their attacks can even generate arcs of lightning and claps of thunder. These rogues usually favor the sword as a conduit for this power, often drawing, swinging, and sheathing their weapon all within the blink of an eye, felling their enemies before they even know they are in danger. This isn't much of a description, which is pretty common on this channel. I'm not usually trying to make like very lore-heavy subclasses. I want to be able to use these subclasses to play other characters. So I'm not going to get into thunder breathing. I'm not going to get into the going to sleep thing that he does. Like that's RP stuff. You can choose to do that. And importantly, I didn't want to just make like a magic swordsman rogue. I mean, partially because I already made like a good magic swordsman subclass for fighter called Weave Knight that you should check out. But also because like Zenitsu's like kind of not magic. I mean, it depends on how you interpret what we see in Demon Slayer. I think that if you were trying to play as him, you're going to want lightning and thunder damage. I think you're playing a fantasy game, you should get that kind of fantastical outcome. But as you'll see when we get into it, I'm not actually enforcing the magical part. You could play this as a purely martial character. Well, kind of. You'll see in a second. So at third level, rogues usually get 1 or 2 features, something that is just for flavor, and then something that usually improves their attack or sneak attack. There are some exceptions, but in this case, we're going to make something that is attack focused. But first, we have Calm Before the Storm. At third level, when you choose this archetype, you develop a spiritual connection to storms and the stillness that precedes them. You learn the Druidcraft cantrip and gain proficiency in the perception skill if you don't already have it. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses this proficiency. So I know I just said you could play this without magic, and then I gave you a magical cantrip, but I gave you one of the little ones. I just wanted to kind of make this sort of a Tempest rogue, and I like that Druidcraft lets you predict the weather. It makes you kind of mystical, and then the perception thing is, I don't know, it's kind of a stretch. I was thinking of Zenitsu's super hearing when I was writing it, but I also kind of like the idea of this character being very still until they suddenly aren't. And to me, perception expertise can help drive home that idea that they can just take a deep breath in the middle of a forest and just listen. So after that, we get, the real feature, Flashing Blade. Also at third level, you master the signature strike of the Thunderblade. As an action, you can move in a straight line up to a distance equal to your movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. During this movement, you ignore difficult terrain and can pass through spaces occupied by creatures or objects of medium size or smaller, though you must end your movement in an unoccupied space. Once during this movement, if you are within 5 feet of a creature, you can make a single melee attack against that creature. This attack can benefit from your sneak attack as long as you do not have disadvantage on the attack, and the additional damage you deal can be lightning or thunder damage. There's kind of a lot to unpack here, but the thesis is nothing personnel, kid. I am giving you a straight line dash where you can literally start 15 feet away from an opponent and end 15 feet on the other side of them. And in the middle, you have slashed them. If you want to play it magically, you could deal lightning or thunder sneak attack. If you want to play it normally, you can just use the slashing or piercing damage of the weapon you used. I'm not forcing you to be magic here. It's funny, as I'm recording this, there are some wording problems here. As written right now on screen, I'm implying that you could use a non-finesse weapon. I need to futz with it, but I don't want to do it right now. I just want to do this recording. But yeah, just trying to imagine the play style here. You've got your movement, so you can kind of position yourself, put yourself at an interesting point. Then you can pop across the battlefield, slashing them on the way. And then you still have your bonus action to, make another dash or to hide wherever you ended up. I think this works really well for the idea of trying to find your moment, finding your focus. If you're using, say, the steady aim optional class feature, this is great because you can really emulate that thing that Zenitsu does, where you just take a deep breath and then strike. Bonus action, steady aim, cut all your movement, and then boom, across the battlefield, 5d6 sneak attack damage. And like Zenitsu, we're never going to get any other skills. The rest of this subclass is just going to be about making this ability better. Starting with Shocking Speed. Starting at 9th level, your blade work is so swift that it is almost imperceptible. Your weapon attacks do not trigger other creatures' reactions, such as a knight's parry or a mage's shield spell. This is a super simple feature. A lot of creatures have reactions. Most of the time, those reactions are parries. Now, I've already made you safe from opportunity attacks, which is going to be the most common enemy reaction. So again, this is meant to just further increase the chances of your Flashing Blade feature working. Now, it's not just that you zip past them and make an attack, which you may or may not have advantage on. Well, now they can't parry you. They can't use the shield spell. They can't use any other reaction that your DM has given this creature. As a little note for those of you who are here to learn how to make stuff, this little thing like a knight's parry or a mage's shield spell, you don't have to do that, but you'll see things like, look at evasion. It actually name drops a monster and one of its abilities to just sort of give a sense of what it's supposed to do, because not triggering other creatures' reactions is not a super precise phrase. The next feature is Static Cling. By 13th level, your rapid footfalls are charged with electricity. You gain the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during your movement. If you know all the D&D rules by heart, you know this. This is improved unarmored movement from Monk. Frankly, I just stole the 9th level Monk feature, going up walls and across water, and I gave it to this rogue. Now, when I was designing this, I actually was trying to decide. I wanted this and Shocking Speed. I couldn't decide which to go at 9 and which to go at 13. I could have gone either way, but I think since rogues already get evasion, they're kind of competing with monks in that sense, and because of their bonus action dash, they are also competing speed-wise, especially now, this guy, I've given you an action dash attack. So I felt like if I gave you moving up vertical surfaces at 9, when monks get it, I'm just kind of making a monk, and the monk in your party is going to be annoyed that you can do everything they can do. So I pushed it to 13 so that by that point the monk has had it for 4 levels and they're getting a bunch of other stuff, and then, oh, now you can run up walls with me. How fun. And again, this is just to improve your flashing blade. And as you'll see in a second, this is going to combine super well with the capstone, Dendritic Discharge. At 17th level, you can unleash the full might of a lightning strike onto the battlefield. If you haven't moved or used a bonus action on your turn, you can use your Flashing Blade action to move a distance equal to 3 times your movement speed. This movement does not need to be in a straight line, but gains the other benefits from that feature. Roll half your sneak attack dice, rounded down. Each creature that you come within 5 feet of during this movement must make a dexterity saving throw against a DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your dexterity modifier. On a failed save, they take lightning or thunder damage equal to the sneak attack damage you rolled, or half as much on a successful save. After you take this action, your bonus action is expended and your speed is 0 until the end of the current turn. You have 1 use of this feature, which you regain when you finish a short or long rest. This is like burning everything you've got, all of your movement, your bonus action, and just tearing ass across the battlefield. And you're no longer restricted to going in a straight line. And now the fact that you can go across water and go up walls, run up a tree, jump down, run around, means you can basically just find a group of enemies and just run in circles around them, and then snap your sword into its scabbard and shock all of them with 4 or even 5d6 sneak attack damage. Initially when I was writing it, I was like, oh, you can attack everyone on the route. I'm just going to make it so instead of attacking just one target, you're attacking every target. But that's annoying. It's annoying to roll that many times and check everyone's AC. What this is a spell. I've given you, what this is Steel Wind Strike, except now instead of just choosing a bunch of enemies you can see, I'm actually going to make you sort of family circle style draw a little path that's 90 feet long or longer depending on what your speed is, and go, yeah, if I take this path, I can touch all these enemies. And then it's just like a spell. All right, everyone make a dexterity save. Boom. Full damage on a fail, half damage on a success. Again, you could do thunder, you could do lightning. You should do lightning. It's a way cooler damage type. Now, at this point, I am forcing you to use lightning or thunder damage. I didn't want to also write, oh, you can use the weapon damage. That's annoying. Now, I think this sounds super fun. The idea of all right, guys, I'm using my once per short rest crazy arc lightning attack, and all right, everyone give me 2 seconds to map out my route. That sounds fun. Maybe we'll talk about this in the playtesting section. Maybe that's kind of onerous and would slow down the game, but I don't know. That seems cool to me. It seems very Zenitsu. When you see him fighting at high level, he's not just blasting forward. He's bouncing off of things and going in a bunch of different directions and then just kind of landing and, I don't know, being cool. And that's the Thunderblade. In terms of playtesting, Calm Before the Storm, harmless. It's an expertise and a non-damaging cantrip. I'm comfortable with that. Flashing Blade, I think is probably fine. My main focus, if I was going to play test this, would be the distance. Should I cut this to half the distance? Maybe getting your entire movement, getting a 30-foot straight line, or whatever your movement is, straight line every turn, and still having bonus action dash available is problematic. I think that's worth testing. In the same way, finding out if it's actually more annoying to do this positional thing. Well, I got to get over here so I'm in a straight line with this guy. And again, it sounds fun to me because I really like the board game element of D&D, but this may not be fun for people who don't. And that's worth testing. Shocking Speed, I'm not worried about. Not triggering other creatures' reactions is fine. It's kind of harmless. Static Cling, that's a monk feature. It's well tested. It's fine. And then Dendritic Discharge, that would need some testing. There is a chance that it is heinously powerful. Now, I've limited you to once per rest. Again, is the bookkeeping of it annoying? Is it annoying to stop the battle so you can draw your little family circle dotted line and go, I can touch all 12 of these people? I don't know. And then, of course, balancing the damage. Is this just like a incredibly good thing? But I don't know. It can't be that good because at 17th level, there are 9th level spells. So being able to do 5d6 lightning damage to even 100 people in a little small area is like, wizards can do that multiple times per day. Why shouldn't you be able to do it every once in a while? So yeah, I think this is actually pretty good. Like, it's untested. I wouldn't publish this, but I feel pretty good about bringing this to the table and trying it out. So as always, if you want to bring this to your table and try it out, it is on D&D Beyond right now. You can check the link in the description. For anyone watching who saw the poll that I posted last weekend, thanks. I got a couple of votes. I really feel bad for the single vote for the Shikamaru subclass. If you're that person, just know that it's still half designed and it's sitting in my Google Drive folder, and next season, maybe that will be our rogue. Next week, I will be doing a Warlock subclass. I wish I could say, hey, leave a comment below telling me what kind of Warlock I should make, but honestly, I already started, and my week's going to be busy enough. I can't be waiting for comments, and also I never get comments, so who cares? But, please do leave a comment saying you want me to make something, because I'm going to do more of these. This has been a really fun experience. And otherwise, subscribe if you want to see more of these. The algorithm apparently really likes when you watch multiple videos in a row. So check out my other videos. Maybe watch the Weave Night one based on Sword Art Online. I've got a couple other anime themed episodes. I've also got just stuff not from anime. I think you should watch the Transformers one. It's kind of a weird subclass that I sort of hated while I was making it. And now that I've reconsidered it, I actually really like it. So I'm going to link some videos. I'm going to figure out how to do an end card on this one for the first time. And I will see you next week for the season finale of Untested Arcana. Bye.